If there is one visual, one sound that is synonymous with brand Husqvarna, it's this. One of the oldest motorcycle manufacturers, the Swedish brand was among the first to introduce purpose-built off-road motorcycles to the world and has been a dominant force in all forms of dirt racing for the last 60 years. A legacy that overshadows the fact that before its foray in the world of motocross, Husqvarna first made its mark through its street motorcycles in the 1920s and 30s. And that's exactly how they plan on infiltrating the Indian market as an extension of the KTM Bajaj alliance with these two beauties, the Svartpilen and the Vitpilen 250. Now, as the name suggests, these two borrow heavily from their Austrian cousin, the KTM Duke 250. So they get the same 248cc engine, make the same 30 PS and 24 Nm of torque, share the same chassis, brakes and suspension as the Duke. But what sets them apart is the way they look, because you would be hard pressed to find production motorcycles which are this minimalist and still so futuristic at the same time. I mean, I have had countless people come to me over the last few days thinking that these were electric motorcycles. And each also provides a unique riding experience to match this less is more design philosophy. The Vitpilen, which is Swedish for white arrow, is Husqvarna's take on a modern day cafe racer. In short, this is the RC250 we always wanted in naked trim. The low set clip-ons and the raised seat height give you the aggressive stance you need to attack corners, as you are more connected with what's happening at the front. Add to that its low 166 kg curb weight and 5-spoke alloys that are 970 grams lighter than the ones on the Duke, and you're looking at a setup that turns on a dime, is lightning quick when changing directions and stops better despite using the same braking setup as its KTM sibling. And it will only get better when you slap on stickier rubber. Now, what makes it difficult to get the most out of this machine is, ironically, its diminutive size. Because if you look at these knee recesses, they are placed a little too high. So on the one hand, even for tall guys like me, it gives a lot of room to move around, but also makes it nearly impossible to lock your outside knee. So then, the only way you can anchor yourself is using the heel plates, which are a tad too small. So if you're now holding on to the bike, all the weight is obviously going onto your wrists, which works against the Vitpilen, not just in the canyons, but also in the city. These lower set clip-ons are also more susceptible to vibrations in higher revs, which can get a little bit tiring. So yeah, inadvertently, the Vitpilen then sets the perfect launch pad for its twin, the Svartpilen. You have the motocross style handlebar, dual seats, dual purpose tires and supermoto ABS, just like on the Vitpilen. This has Scrambler written all over it, and it is anything but. It's a Scrambler for namesake, as you can clearly see, but that's okay because I think this looks fantastic and also has the makings of a really stellar urban weapon. The upright ergonomics means it is a lot more comfortable to ride. The handlebar feels better damped against vibrations and complements the 300 grams lighter 8-spoke alloys compared to the ones on the Duke, ultimately making it the weapon of choice for darting through traffic. The ride quality too is quite good, especially with the rear shock travel reduced by 4mm to fit the tire hugger and number plate bracket. In terms of heat management, I think this one actually manages heat better than the Duke 250 because the fan kicks in a little bit earlier to keep the engine temperature in check. Also, the way the engine delivers this power, it's very progressive, so that's really helpful in the city. The gearbox is as good as ever. It's super slick. The slipper clutch makes the clutch very easy to operate. So yeah, really there's not much to not like on the Svartpilen. But having said that, it does have its fair share of challenges. Starting with the seat height. Because of this new subframe, you're now looking at the seat height of 842 mm, which is the highest in class. But to be fair, when you sit on this motorcycle, you realize that the seat is tapered closer to the tank, making it easier to reach the ground. And also, at 166 kgs weight, this is a pretty light motorcycle, which should be easy to manage even for a guy who is, say, 5'6". Next, of course, is the 9.5 litre tank, which is enough for the city. But if you're looking at touring on this urban machine, you need to bear in mind that you're only looking at about 220 kilometers between top-ups, which is not really ideal for touring. And also for a brand which is renowned for its attention to detail, I'm surprised how they haven't hidden these wires better or done something about some of these parts where rusting has already set in. I think the biggest hurdle for the Husqvarna twins is down to the fact that they are so compact, almost a little too small, to the fact that they almost make me look comically big on them. And that's why it's hard for me to believe that motorcyclists who are between the ages of 25 and above, which Husqvarna tells us is their main target audience, are going to go out and buy these motorcycles. On the contrary, I feel that both of them have all the ingredients to be a mega success among young riders. People who are looking for something different, something distinctive other than the Dukes, which have been around for a very long time. People or riders who actually fit on these tiny saddles, and also make the most of the fact that these two Huskies are, unlike anywhere else in the world, 20,000 rupees cheaper than their KTM counterparts. But who is right? Only time will tell.